Hey Megan. So I just am finishing up over here on the template for at least this kind of pass, this kind of go through, and I just wanted to show you a couple things about where things were located. I put in your curtain hanging rod that only I guess it needs to get it's a ceiling based generic model. So it's up here under the generic models tab. Should probably still be here under our components, I think too. Yeah. So you can look for it on the properties panel here too, under components. Um, but it's also here under our in the families. But I wanted to show you where all the I think you mentioned that you wanted all the um, just all this stuff left out, which I'm guessing might get a little annoying after a while. So maybe once you're comfortable with the nomenclature and kind of sorting it through this way, you won't need to keep this open, and we can get rid of the um, we can get rid of just splaying all these out on our ground floor plan and not actually having them out in the model. But the process for bringing something in, I didn't have a description that goes along with all these living rooms, which just might be annoying. So it might be like as you go and start to kind of get a feel for how you want to change them. I could see going in there and just renaming them with a little description of like large couch or whatever it is, sofa maybe. Anyway, so when you're gonna drag and basically like the process for importing them is just to go under here under the groups. So let's close up this. So below all the sheets and views, you'll see families and groups. And then in families and groups, you'll see details, which are there's a whole bunch of detail models in here too. Um, and then all the or sorry, detail groups in here. But the model groups is what we're looking for as far as putting in the furniture. So you just open your models within the groups, and then you can go down and just drag and drop whatever it is. You just got to make sure that you're in the view and not on the sheet. So just make sure that all this stuff is selectable, or you're double clicked in here. So and then you just drag and drop it just like that. And then once it's in here, I would ungroup it, and then you can start moving things around. Um, yeah, and that should be it. Should be pretty straightforward. I think you're probably going to want to wind up deleting these from the template. It doesn't actually delete it from the project. It just won't be here shown in the view. I think that, like I noticed that there was some stuff displayed initially in the template. Um, And I'm guessing that's more of a hangover from like people that were used to using AutoCAD, because I don't think there's any advantage to doing it that way. I've just seen that done a couple times um, before, and I think it's a little bit of a it's just kind of a hangover from being in model space in AutoCAD where you can have all your blocks and all this stuff open. I just don't think Revit really works like that in my experience. So I think this is probably the easiest way, but I'll leave everything in as it is, and if we want to change it as we go, we could certainly do that. So I also wanted to go through a little bit of the kind of navigation through our plans. Everything should be pretty straightforward, and all the views are in, all our plan views are in registration. So going on our main floor plan, all these are synchronized with each other on the sheets, the lower, main, upper, and roof plan, and the RCPs. Um, we also have, I just set these in. I don't know if you had this before, but I always set up my elevations. I just like to have them there. So when you go on your elevation sheet, you have your views already there. I have like this, just a generic kind of box in there for display purposes. Um, but yeah, and all these should be lined up as well. Um, yeah, I think this should be pretty straightforward. And then obviously our electrical stuff, we kind of already went over that. But same story there. So yeah, let me know if everything works okay. I'm gonna just leave this in the drive file as is, or drive folder as is. And if you want me to change stuff, just let me know and I can change it whenever you'd like. Okay, thanks, Megan.